Anyways, sorry guys, it's not been recording, so we'll fix it when I do that at other class. So, Jesus. Okay. Tell me.
Okay, so like when you're taking the test, how do you know which passages are going to be easier and which ones are going to be harder?
I know what you're exactly asking. So, we are actually making a decision of the passage based on how it is structured, not based on the questions. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why you have only 45 seconds to make the decision. So that's actually a great question. Many people have not asked me that question. So we are making that what we call a gut feeling based on some scientific usage in terms. But we have seen in the past, very less though, but we have seen in the past that whatever you have selected, those two, and when students have started doing it, they found out it was hard. The questions were hard. Then we actually tell students to actually stop the passage, go on to the next one. And that has rarely happened, but it has happened in the past. That you are making a judgment based on the passage, not based on the questions in the passage. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Really good question. Do you understand his question? That he's asking, how are we making the decision based off the difficulty of the passage without even looking at the questions? That's why we're using this criteria. 98% of the times it has worked. Maybe once or twice it does not. Yes?
So after you do the first two passages, after you scan them, do you just do it like two at a time after?
Yes. So again, after all this discussion has led to the selection of just two passages. Then we're going to go to those two passages, we're going to complete those two passages, and then use the same criteria for the selection of next two.
Okay.
And we're going to finish those two, then finish the remaining two. Make sense?
Yep.
But if you don't pick the right passage, and if you just start with 1, 2, 3, just like math, then you're in a big surprise. Assuming something like this happens where you have a very high difficulty first passage. Yeah, and again, I can't stress the importance of your question, by the way. So I'll tell you what the discussion type is. So the discussion type, there is no reading. There's no tables, there's no graphs, there's no pictures. This resembles a reading passage. So, and the reason it should be done last is to do the questions of a passage which has no pictures and graphs. You almost have to end up reading the passage, just like a reading test, and then do the question, which will take the most time. This is to avoid time. And I had a couple of students in my SUSD class last Sunday when we did this, and they were like, Manoj, we don't like all these things. We like reading passage. I know a couple of students specifically told me. I said, we are not going to enforce on you to do this. But we know 98% of our students have used our strategies and have made significant impact on it. Sounds good? Very rarely I've seen students say, this is not helping. 2% of the students have not. 2%. The remaining 98% loved it. Did you understand the answer?
Yeah.
Really good question. Again, I wish, I'm actually not going to even wait next time. I'm just going to volunteer that question myself, because you are making a decision based on the content of the passage, not the questions. Go ahead and get into orange books, please, everybody. Again, you're not writing anything. I'm going to give you time to write this.
If there's a question with like tables and like reading, should we try and answer the questions like based on the tables first, and then if we can't answer all the questions, go back and read the passage?
That's the thing. Okay, so this, again, that's the reason I wrote this. So what happens if we have, let me rephrase your question. Let's say there is a passage which has less reading, which is good, but a lot of graphs, a lot of tables. Then what? So you have to make the judgment based on the remaining passages. It's a situational judgment, more of a subjective judgment than an objective judgment. You see what I'm saying? So that's where the skill is. And more you do, and when I say more, at least 8 science tests, 8 is minimum. You'll have a pretty darn good idea how to pick the passages. And if you don't know by the end of the semester, you really did not understand the strategy at all. Unless you just want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and hope for the best. And I've had people do that. That's not a good thing, okay? Open page 808. 808. As this is the first time you guys are doing this, I'm not gonna just give you guys 45 seconds. I'm gonna give you guys enough time. Let's say give 2 minutes time, okay? And this test has 7 passages. Hold on, don't start. This test has 7 passages. You're gonna scan all the 7. And I want you to select the first 2 you would do, okay? Be very clear in your selection. And I don't care it's right or wrong, because there's nobody else to compare in the real test. But you know the criteria, use a firm reasoning why you have picked it. Sounds good? Whatever it is, you should know your reason. Your time starts now, 2 minutes time. Take your time, it's a lot of time to write now. We just got an update from the Jakarta Jews saying that the water level has risen more than anticipated. They're asking us to leave now, it seems. Wow. If you don't mind, can I go outside and make a call, please?
Yes.
Again, I'm so sorry, but this is important.
What?
The river's fire. Bro, you guys want to go to the lake? I'm not even kidding. I'm really gonna go to the lake. Is it there? Yeah.
Do you want to swim in it?
The thing is, they all have so much reading in it. I'm like, reading, so I feel like I might be.
Wait, so like this is the
Like the
discussion
most-
type thing, where there's like,
Oh.
like the type of the passage is like discussion.
That's supposed to choose that one.
Yeah, like this one, labs.
Why would you want more graphs than tables?
Because graphs like this are easier to read.
Yeah.
Then tables, you have to like look.
Or like that, it's like right there, you just see it for rewards, first questions about rewards. That's too much.
I was thinking 2 and it's got not a lot of reading. And 5 is just nothing basically.
Legitimately still sleeping. Yeah.
Kind of
He's
watches that.
literally like still sleeping.
It's a runner's watch. It's a runner. You just gotta have the GPS.
Oh yeah. I was thinking about getting like a Phoenix 5 instead. It was like, I don't know. I just want to watch, but probably not a runner's watch.
He's so funny.
Did you run in middle school?
Which we didn't drink on Arnold Palmer's. Did you see
Oh,
Arnold
no.
Palmer? I literally drank 6.
I was in that then. I was at Patrick. I wasn't very good. Yeah. It was better than football.
I thought I lost my ID, but actually
I did football 7-3. And yeah, Gavin and I were in cross country 3. Yeah, I didn't like it. It's too hard.
that bagel boy really hit the spot.
Yeah.
I could go for another one.
What was the worst ones?
I don't have too much. I mean,
Well,
AP and basic.
Every year is like. English.
I just copy and paste. Yeah. And then we ask him questions on like every single question, like on the test or whatever. And he's like, oh, well, the answer is this because blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wait. Maybe this one.
He usually doesn't have stuff.
Oh, oh yeah.
I'm trying to focus on what he said. It seems like my forehead really hurts right now for some reason.
I know, I feel like we're hung
Okay. Could you guys tell me what passages you guys have selected? Anybody, just
4 and 6.
4 and 6. How many are 4 and 6? Okay. Anybody else? Yeah.
4 and 5.
How many are 4 and 5? Not a good start. Yeah.
7 and 3.
7 and 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, not a whole lot. What's going on? Any other combination? Yeah.
I have 2 and 5.
Yeah, that's what I had.
2 and 5.
5 and 2.
5 and 2, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
5 and 2.
I said
Well, not.
I had 3 and 5.
Okay. Wow.
A lot of 5.
Yeah. 6 and 3. Okay, we are not off to a good start if you want to know. What we are hoping by the end of the semester, we are at least 80% of the students are picking the right 2. You with me on this? That's the goal. Okay, again, in the real test, there's nobody else to check. Hey, what did you get? No, hopefully don't do that. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Why are we having that? Okay, passage 1. Hell no. Because that's the discussion tab, right? Are there any graphs, tables? Nothing. So passage 2, not bad. Passage 3, kind of bad. 4, really bad. Somebody said 4. I don't know who it is, but 4 is really bad. 5 is good. 6 is not good. 7 is pretty good. I would do 5 and 7.
I had 5 and 2.
5 and 2. okay.
Yeah, I was thinking of it too.
I'm okay with 5 and 2, even though 7 is a better choice because 7 does not have a table. Okay? Again, I'm okay with 2 though. 5, 7 is better than 5, 2, but 2 is almost okay. Do you guys work with me? Go to page 808. At the top, I would actually want you guys to write this. As we are doing this together, test 10, passage 5, just write down 5, 7. Just for, as a group we are doing, so we're gonna be consistent this time at least. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, no? And you know why 5, 7, right? So you cannot, again, this is your first time, I expect this rustiness and I'm not so sure, but down the line, you will be exactly knowing what to do. And hopefully by the end of today, you'll know it actually. I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds to pick the next 2 you would do. Time starts now. The next 2 you would do. All right. Tell me. Yeah?
2 and 3.
How many have 2 and 3? Almost all of you have 2 and 3. See, just what happened. Now you are slowly getting the point, okay? I don't have to see this. Let's do 2 and 3. 15 seconds, select the remaining 3. We are left with 1, 4, and 6. Okay, tell me. Yeah?
4, 6, 1.
How many have 4, 6, 1? Okay, any other combinations? Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
check.
6, 4, 1, yeah.
6, 4, 1.
Yeah.
6, 4, 1. Okay. Let's go to 6 and 4 and see what's the difference. See, 4 has words, right?
Yeah.
But 6 does not have.
6 has.
Let's see.
There's no table.
4 has less reading, but there's a lot of reading inside the table. Again, this is where the judgment comes, right? If 4, 6, 1, 6, 4, 1, I would have done 6, 4, 1. Okay? But they're not that far apart. You with me on this? So, I'm just gonna write 6, 4, 1, but again, in the real test, there's nobody else for you to compare with. And I can't stress, guys, how important this is. Do not undermine this process. Okay? Do not undermine this process. Go to page 723. 723. Now the real game starts, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna time exactly 45 seconds, and you have to select only the 2. You with me? Now you'll see the pressure of what a 45 second looks like. Your time starts now. Time's up. 45 seconds. Remember, in the real test, you have nobody else to tell you, right, that you watch, right? So you have to think that way. Okay, I want to see how many of the combinations. Just raise your hands if you want to volunteer. I just want to pick some people who have not volunteered. Okay, let's do your turn. What do
I
you-
have 6 and 4.
How many have 6 and 4? Okay, nobody else. Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
5 and 7.
5 and 7. Nobody else? Yes.
5 and 6.
5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's looking a little better. Anybody else? Okay, let me choose. All right. Well, you know what 1 is now, okay? 2 is not good. 2 is really not good. 3 is not good. 4 is okay. 5 is good. 6 is good. 7 is okay. I would do 5, 6. This time, it's a clear winner here, by the way, because it's less reading, graphs are easy to understand and comprehend, right? So, for example, when you have a graph like this, what's the difficulty level at question 16? Boom, right? Not done. If you have a table which has all convoluted information, it will take time. You're trying to reduce your time management. So you can write 5 and 6 on page 723. Okay, now you have 20 seconds to select the next two. Your time starts now. Time's up. 20 seconds. And again, remember, even though it's a great strategy, you just don't want to keep taking too much time. Tell me what you've selected. I want to keep giving options to everybody. Yeah.
3 and 4.
Huh?
3 and 4.
How many have 3 and 4? Not a whole lot. Next. Yeah. 7, 4. How many have 7, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Any other combinations? Okay. 7, 4. Okay, 7 is not bad at all. I would have done 4, 7. Okay, but 7, 4 again. It's tough to differentiate. Okay. Someday I may do the same test and 6, 7, 4. Okay. Again, it's kind of tough to do that. So let's go with 4, 7. Again, I'm going to repeat this several times. In the real test, you have nobody else to compare with. So what are you left with? 1, 2, and 3. Go, decide. Even there also it makes a difference what the order is going to be. Tell me. Yeah? 3 to 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Just imagine, if you did not know the strategy, so the first 3 you would have done is the first 3 I would have done last. Right? The first 3 are the ones I would have done last, and you would have, so this would have drained all your time. And you would have not gotten to the easier questions at all. You see what I'm saying? This is what we discussed all day today, is to avoid selecting the wrong passage to start with. Make sense? Now, go to page 808. 808. Read the directions on page 808. Underline one key word in that. And I want to see what the key word you are going to pick. you think? What's the key word? Yeah,
7 passages,
used to be 7, nowadays?
but it still says 7.
Yeah, that's a, oh, that,
Oh, okay.
this got changed 2 years
Okay.
back, so, yes.
Choose your best answer.
Choose your best answer, because in science, this is a right now, this is a science reasoning test, not a science test. That means it is based on the perception. And now the question comes, best answer according to whom? Is it best answer according to you? Hopefully not. Then everybody will have a different answer. Best answer according to the author who wrote the passage. You with me on this? And this is one of the hardest part of science, is to think like what the author is thinking. 2 plus 2, 4, correct answer. Right? Color of the polo, blue, sky blue, dark blue. Right? Perception. You guys with me on this? So more you practice, more you understand how the ACT structures its science passages, so more you know to pick the right answer. So you may walk out of science and say, you know what, I did well. But if you have not done enough, you do not know how the ACT science is built, then you'll be in for a surprise. You with me on this? So I've seen real weird scores. Sometimes my students say, I nailed this, and they get a 24. Sometimes, my goodness, it was horrible, and they end up getting 31. You with me on this? Because you got to think like an author, and this is very hard, let me tell you. This is not easy. It's tough to think like somebody else, because you're used to thinking like you are thinking. Make sense? Does this make sense? Now write down this. When you write this, you really need to understand what this means to you. Yes?
Do you have an extra pencil or pen you can use? Thank you.
$100. this okay? Does this make sense? So who had missed today's class, of course, I'm gonna be recording for the advanced class, so hopefully they don't miss out the first few minutes of me not recording for some reason. Of course, I'm literally distracted today with non-stop messages about the dunes and stuff, so my apologies for that, but I'm glad at least I didn't miss the class, okay? I do not know if I have to leave early, or I don't know, so. Pack your stuff, you're gonna go to the next room today.